Good morning, people. It's Poor Stacker here, and it's Monday morning, October 6, 2014, and I'm here again with your early morning market report. So what did we see happen in the markets last week, people? Gold dropped from 12.12 all the way down to 11.88 this morning. As I speak to you, it's 1 a.m. where I'm at. And over to the silver charts, we can see that silver is pretty much mirroring gold. Seems like for the first time in a while, come on silver, for the first time in a while, gold is actually leading silver again. And so we saw a drop of about 40 cents since Friday morning on silver. We're all the way down to 1670, just above 1670 right now, people. I don't think we've hit rock bottom yet. And we saw the Dow rise from 16,800 all the way back to 17. They got it all the way back to 17. Can you believe that? The bulls had their way on Friday. They closed out at 17,009. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But I guess I have to, because this market has no fundamentals to judge it by. It's just a rigged market. So what can you expect? Pardon me, besides indigestion after dinner. That's predictable too. I should have been able to predict that and that. But anyway, so I blew it. I blew it on Friday. I said the Dow would fall more, and it didn't. It went up 200 points. I completely blew it. I said gold would remain relatively steady and not go below 1205. Lost that one too. I said silver would lose, and that silver would probably have a spike sometime during the night, and it just kind of just went all day long. And so that's where we're at, 1670. Wow. So I completely blew it. So I'm only about 80% now for last week. That really hurts my overall average. But like I said, there's just no fundamentals left in this market to judge it by. The only thing you can really judge this market by is that we know what the motives of the banksters are. And if you know what their motives are, you can pretty much figure out what their moves are going to be. And if you know what their moves are going to be, then you can pretty much figure out what the market's going to do. And so that's pretty much, those are your new fundamentals now. Think like a thief. So anyway, I thought today I'd look at a couple of charts. We'd look at a couple of charts, and we're also going to look at something on Wikipedia. Let's go over to Wikipedia real quick for a second. I looked up quantitative easing, and I'm going to read this to you. Quantitative easing is an unconventional monetary policy used by central banks to stimulate the economy when the standard monetary policy has become ineffective. A central bank implements quantitative easing by buying specified amounts of financial assets from commercial banks and other private institutions, thus raising the prices of those financial assets and lowering their yield, while simultaneously increasing the monetary base. In other words, they're ripping you off, because they're buying assets with money that they just printed up, which lowers the yield of those assets because your money's been diluted. This is distinguished from the more usual policy of buying and selling short-term government bonds in order to keep interbank interest rates at a specified target value. Expansionary monetary policy to stimulate the economy typically involves the central banks buying short-term government loans in order to lower short-term market interest rates. Beethoven, right on time. However, when short-term interest rates have reached or are close to reaching zero, this method can no longer work, and quantitative easing may then be used by monetary authorities to further stimulate the economy by purchasing assets of longer maturity than short-term government bonds, thereby lowering long-term interest rates further out on the yield curve. Anyway. Here's the interesting part. Quantitative easing can be used to help ensure that inflation does not fall below target. Risks include the policy being more effective than intended and acting against deflation, leading to higher inflation longer term due to the increased money supply. Well, what we're seeing right now, folks, is we're not seeing inflation anymore. We're seeing deflation now. We're slipping into a deflationary depression. And the reason that's happening is because the dollar is so strong. And that's actually causing deflation. A strong dollar is bad for several reasons. It makes it harder for us to pay our debts. When you have deflation, it's good for consumers. Obviously, when the price of things go down, what do you think? Oh, we can buy things now because we have deflation. Well, deflation is also bad because if you're holding a lot of debt, it makes it harder for you to pay that debt. It's easier to pay your debt if you have inflation, which is what the Fed, that's what their policy is to have inflation. So they're really screwing it up because we've fallen into a deflationary style depression. Well, not yet, but we're really close to falling into one. Deflation has definitely begun. And it's all because of the strength of the dollar. And that's also the reason why we're seeing precious metals fall so hard right now. We were holding relatively steady for a little while, with us. We were seeing a steady slide, but now we're seeing more of a dive. And it's because of deflation and a strong dollar. So when people jump up and down and go, oh, the dollar is strong, not necessarily a good thing, people. So let's see, what else do we have going on today? Let's take a look at the Dow chart. I wanted to look at the Dow chart today, and this is the Dow chart since '01. So this is 14 years worth, and you can see, people, this is just an absolute mountain of debt. That's what that represents. An absolute mountain of debt. And do you see this place right here? Well, that's where the market once fell to. 75.52. 75.52 is what it fell to in 2008. That's quite a ways below 1,700. Or 17,000, I should say. Sorry. But the real figure needs to be somewhere in the middle here. So if we just kind of, the real value of the Dow should be about 10,000, maybe. So the Dow is nearly double what it should be valued at. We got a silver chart here. Wish I could superimpose this, but I can't. You can see the dive in 2008 for silver. When the market crashed, silver also crashed, and that's because all assets pretty much lose value in a crash. But it's who rises after the ashes, and what we think is going to happen is that the Dow is not going to snap back after this, and neither is the U.S. dollar. So we could see from this chart here on the silver chart, a little hard to see, but that there's been we're like in a steady cyclic thing here that we've been in for the past about a year. It goes up, it goes down, but the trend has always been down, but it's been in a cycle. And if that cycle continues, we're due for a bottom any day now. We're going to see a bottom any day now where silver's going to pop back up. And my guess, it's going to pop back up to about $20.50. And then we're going to go back down again. So that's what I think we're in store for the next couple of months. It's good. We're going to hit a bottom here real shortly, and it's going to pop back up to about 20.50, I think that bottom is going to be about $15, just above $15. We're going to pop back up, maybe even by the end of this week. That cycle we might see a reversal trend on that cycle. So it ain't over yet. If those of you who have wives and friends that you've been telling about this, I'm sure you're taking a lot of razzing right now. I personally am taking a lot of razzing from a lot of people I know. They're just like, oh, you idiot. You bought silver. You moron. But, this is a mountain of debt, people. This is a absolute mountain of debt that we are not going to get over. They're not going to. These are loans signed by people who it's not. This is like if your baby brother found your checkbook and decided to start writing checks out of your bank account. This is what the government is doing to us right now. They're just wiping you out, man. They are wiping you out. They're signing checks on an account that ain't even theirs. And they're wiping us all out. They're wiping out our children and so that's why we're so confident that silver is going to wind up being the hard asset, because this currency is not going to pop back from this. This is going to be Zimbabwe. Well, maybe, I don't know if we'll ever reach Zimbabwe standards, but holy cow. So a lot of important figures came out last week. It is the end of the fiscal year. So we know 92 million people are not even looking for jobs right now. That's 92 million people in the United States are not even looking for a job. There's only 370 million of us. 92 million of them aren't even looking. And that's not counting the unemployed people who are looking. And by the way, that unemployment rate magically dropped from 6.1 to 5.9. A lot of McDonald's opening up around here, I bet. But you see that the velocity, money velocity, the rate at which money exchanges hands is still going down, despite the unemployment figures. Interest rates still at zero. Home sales still down. Foreclosures still up. This thing's going to crack, people. It's going to crack. It's going to crack. This is a mountain of debt that can't be paid. The only way they're going to pay this off is to inflate. And you know what? We lost that battle. This was a race to the bottom. For the currencies, for currencies, this was a race to the bottom. Whoever could inflate their currency the fastest is going to win this race, because those are the ones that are going to pay off their debts first. The ones that pay off their debts first, and then with the BRICS nation moving, they're coming out with the gold standard. Man, we are in a deep tub of boiling water, and we're going to have to use water because we won't be able to afford the oil. So the numbers are just not showing a recovery, people. It's fake. It's not really there. There is no recovery. Goodness gracious. So what else do we have, people? Need to write better notes. That's what we have. We have really bad notes. So I came across a video this week I want to recommend by Stefan Molyneux. He's a Canadian guy. He does philosophy shows, and he's got a The Truth About series. And last week he did The Truth About Richard Nixon, which I thought was really good. I want to recommend that one. The first 20 minutes or so, not so great. They talk about Richard's childhood and his psychology, and the reasons for him being the way he was, and blah 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 blah. But the really interesting part comes in when they get to the elections, when he first gets elected, and the dirty, underhanded things that went on before that election that should have disbarred him from being president ever to begin with. You can decide for yourself if Nixon was a good president or bad president. There's a lot of mixed feelings about that subject. Nixon is the president that took us off the gold standard. We were the last country to have a gold standard, and Nixon took us off the gold standard. I think he really didn't have any choice, but that's beside the point. He should have never been president to begin with. But if you watch the Truth About Richard Nixon by Stephen Molyneux, and just skip over the first 20 minutes and go, you're going to find out some really interesting information that you may not have known about Tricky Dick. So let's see, what else do we have this week? Stupid comments. Stupid comments. I'm going to make that a regular feature on the show. Stupid comments. Stupid comments from people I know, or people that I've seen, or videos I've watched. My God, the first one, these are both from people I know this week. I try to talk to my friends. I showed some silver to one of them this week, and the first thing he does is he grabs a coin out and he goes, "Oh, look, it says $1 on it. It's only worth $1. It's only worth $1. Let's see. What does this one say? What does it say? A little hard to read. Oh, this one says $5. All right, $5. Anyway, he grabbed out another one. So the Australian ones say $1, I think. Yeah. The kookaburras say $1. Yeah, I got to show off a little bit of silver here while we're talking. So anyway, he says, "Oh my God, it's only worth $1. So how can it be worth? What you're saying is going to be worth. It says it's worth $1." And of course, I just kind of planted my head. It was like a face plant. I was like, oh God. That's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to think. They want you to think it's worth $1. They want to fool you into thinking that this is worth $1. And if you think this is worth less than a Snickers candy bar, then you have no common sense. Serious. But anyway, the other stupid statement I heard this week was, "Gosh, we should all move to Canada. The health care is free." And I said to this person, nothing is ever free. And they looked at me, "Oh no, it's free, really. Move to Canada, healthcare is free." And I was going to argue with them, but I really didn't feel like getting into a long, protracted argument in which I would have to educate this person. And so I've, in certain circumstances, I've just gotten to the point where I just don't want to talk to people anymore about these things. It's so hard. It's so hard to talk to people and make them realize that they've been brainwashed. They've been absolutely brainwashed and stupefied. You are stupid if you believe some of the crap that comes out of people's mouths. Oh gosh, I've got a lot of other things to cover this week. Predictions. Okay, time for some predictions. What are we going to see happen today? Silver. Let's go right down the line. Silver is going to drop another 30-40 cents. Of course. What else would you expect? It's definitely not going to go up. Not right now. It's definitely not going to go up. But we're like I said, I think we're due for a bottom anytime now. We're going to see a bottom, and it's going to rise to 2050, somewhere around 2050, plateau, and then dive again. Okay, that's probably going to, that cycle's going to take a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. But if it holds true to the pattern that we've been seeing all year long, that's what's going to happen. Look at your charts. Pull a chart out and look at it, people. We're gonna see a little bottom here. It's not gonna dive straight down. It's gonna bottom, come back up, and then go back down again. Okay, gold is going to continue to go down. I don't know by how much, but gold is definitely not going up. It's going to definitely go down. We'll probably see another $10 knocked off today. By the end of today, another $10 for probably a total loss of somewhere between 12 and 15, 16, $17 somewhere. It'll be close to Friday's, but not probably as drastic, I don't think. Okay, moving to the Dow. We're already at 1700. Markets haven't opened yet. I think they're going to rally the Dow again. They're going to rally that thing again and get it all the way up to 17,150. We're going to see 17,150 today. They're not going to go much higher, though. Are we going to break the high of 17.3? No. No, we're not going to break that high. People are too nervous. I still say we're never going to break that 17.3 mark again. But it's going to be a tricky day, people. It's going to be a tricky day. And this has been a pretty long video, hasn't it? But I had a lot of things to talk about today, and I really made crappy notes. So that's my predictions for today, people. Hang in there. Hang tight. Save up that money. Everybody's going to have to decide when to pull the trigger for themselves. I want to remind everyone that this is a YouTube show. It is for entertainment purposes. This is not a professional. I am not a professional investor, nor do I offer professional investment advice. That's it for today, people. Have fun, buy some silver, and have a great day.